Talk Politics. I'm Michaela Kells.
And I'm Richard Cole.
And today we're sitting down with Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker.
Good to be with you.
Good to have you. All right, so right into our questions. Our first one pertains to voter ID laws, which have been an especially hot topic in Wisconsin. Opponents of stricter voter ID laws argue that these laws effectively disenfranchise some citizens by setting more requirements to vote. Does the potential threat of voter fraud justify causing less people to vote in a system dependent upon the consent of the government?
Well, we want it easy to vote and hard to cheat, and I think the examples we saw in April prove that that's true. In April, in the presidential preference primary in Wisconsin, we had more people vote in that election than at any point since 1972. In fact, we were the second highest state in the country behind only New Hampshire in terms of total voter turnout. That's because we make it easy to vote. People can register the same day. There are multiple pieces of identification. We make it available for free upon request. We've made modifications so that if someone doesn't have a birth certificate to get a photo ID, there are ways to account for that. So it's relatively easy compared to other states to vote here in the state of Wisconsin. We want it easy to vote, hard to cheat, and the results show that the numbers are higher than ever.
All right, thank you.
All right, our next question is, on your website, it states that you believe that every child should have access to a great education, regardless of zip code. What are some steps you have taken to achieve that goal?
Right? Well, a number of different things. One of the biggest things is we allow the power to run our schools to be put overwhelmingly now in the hands of the people we elect to run school boards and in turn the people they hire, the superintendents, principals, ultimately teachers in the classroom. In fact, the budget that starts today, July 1st, is bigger right now overall than it was in many regards even right the year before we took office. But it's not just about money, it's where that money can be spent, how it can be spent. Overwhelmingly, we're putting our resources in traditional public schools. There are also, for some families, better alternatives when it comes to charter schools, voucher schools, even homeschool environments. And we're trying to make sure all those are successful, positive options for families in the state.
All right, in today's workforce in Wisconsin, how are you helping people move from dependence to independence? And how do additional workforce readiness initiatives continue to transform the workforce?
For us, it's really all about training, giving people the education and skills and qualifications they need to succeed in careers that pay hopefully ultimately far more than the minimum wage. And so it's even in our schools, we're putting more money in K-12, specifically as early as 6th grade with academic and career plans, putting more money to do dual enrollment programs, course options where students can get credit in high school for higher education beyond high school, be it at the technical college or within the University of Wisconsin system. It's in training programs. We just put, in fact, since I've been governor, we've seen about a 114% increase in apprenticeships, more than doubled since we took office. All those things, plus targeted programs in the University of Wisconsin system, more resources in our technical college system, all of which have been really is focused on helping people get career ready. That there are a multitude of different careers, and we want to make sure we celebrate and support all those different options.
All right, thank you.
In light of recent events, including the Orlando nightclub shooting, what can be done in the state of Wisconsin to ensure safety in a time of distress?
Well, a number of different things. Part of it's working with law enforcement and coordinating between local law enforcement at the county and the municipal level, our cities, our towns, our villages, but with the state and the federal government. We've had a series of initiatives, everything from if you see something, say something, campaign, which helps us combat terrorism and other things that we see along the way. To some of our other efforts to root out people who may be in harm's way, even putting more resources in the mental health services. A couple of years ago, I put more money in the mental health services than any governor has in the last 25 years, because unfortunately, many of the cases like this that you see across the country all too often involve a person who fell through the cracks when it comes to treatment for mental health services. Getting them the help and the support, and part of it means even breaking the stigma so that people know, just like you break your finger, you go to the doctor, get help. If someone has a mental health issue, it should be just as easy and just as normal to get help from a doctor as well.
All right. As investment and expansion continue throughout our state, new money sources are also available. Where do you plan on allocating new revenue Wisconsin makes in the coming years?
For us, a couple key areas. Education, both K through 12, we're going to put more resources there in the next budget, particularly some of the savings we see in how we administer health insurance for state employees. We've committed all those savings that would otherwise go to the general fund into public education instead. We'll put more into our technical colleges in particular because they've been very effective. We've added over 6,000 more students in the last couple of years because of our additional funding there. And then we hope to target some funding in the University of Wisconsin system that's tied into performance, so that campuses that are meeting the high demands that we have for certain careers that are in shortage right now, that they'll get financial incentives there. And then ongoing, we always have, out of necessity, the last 3 budgets, we've put more money into Medicaid to care for needy families, seniors, and people with disabilities.
All right, our last question is what do you think is the biggest problem facing the youth today?
I've got 2 sons. They're just a little bit older than you. They're in their 20s, so not much. I think that one of the biggest challenges we have for the future, not just for youth, but in general, is communications. I appreciate the chance to physically sit down with you. My sons are, one turned 22 today, the other's going to be 21 next month. And one of the challenges I think I see for them and others of their friends is how do we communicate? We've got Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram and Periscope and all those sorts of things, which are great. Those are wonderful technologies. But how do we not lose sight of interpersonal communications, not just electronic communications? And I think that's going to be important, not just for your generation, but for all of us in the coming years, is how do we use the benefits of technology but don't lose sight of interpersonal communication, literally sitting down at a place like this and talking to people. A lot of times if I talk to someone one-on-one at the listening session I just had with some folks in the former fire department, I can see how people are interacting as opposed to an electronic message. It may be harder for me to know whether they're joking, whether they're serious, whether they're mad, whether they're upset, whether they're sarcastic, whether they're comical, do they have hurt feelings, what's their emotional response. And I think for us in an age where technology is growing, which is great, how do we not lose sight of interpersonal communication?
All right, thank you. Thank you for watching this episode of Teens Talk Politics, and thank you to our special guest.
You?